Hey crypto friends, for those of you who are new to my channel, my name's Garrett and welcome to Altcoin Radar. In today's educational trading video, you are going to learn all about the Bollinger Band indicator and how to use it and incorporate it into your own swing trading strategy. Now, for those of you who are new to the channel, if you are interested in trading and would like to try out the same exchange that I've been using for the last 3 years, feel free to go ahead and check out MEXC with the link in the video description down below this video. I personally love this exchange for two big reasons. The first reason, as you guys can clearly see, they've got some pretty darn cheap taker fees, which is very nice because you get to keep more of your profits. Now, the other reason I really like MEXC is because I'm a huge altcoin nerd and they have over 1,500 different altcoins for me to trade at any given time, which is very nice, all right? So guys, as most of you already probably know, here we go, let me get to my chart. As most of you already probably know, swing trading pretty much focuses on capturing short-term to medium-term price movements and is a very popular strategy among traders who absolutely love riding market swings for profits, all right? Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with the Bollinger Bands, though, they basically consist of 3 lines on a price chart, all right? As you guys can clearly see, we've got a line here, we've got a line here, and we've got a line here, all right? Now, they basically what we've got here is you've got the middle band right here, which is the orange one. Then the middle band basically is a typical simple moving average, all right? And then you've got the upper band, and then you've also got the lower band as well, all right? And the primary function of Bollinger Bands here is to basically provide insights into price volatility and potential trend reversals as well, all right? Now, to keep this video short and sweet, but also very thorough, Bollinger Bands can be used for many different scenarios in swing trading. Actually, for day trading and longer term position trading as well. Okay, so realistically, this is a pretty versatile indicator and you can use it for quite a different use cases, all right? They can be used for, anywhere from volatility analysis, identifying swing highs and swing lows, the famous Bollinger Band squeeze, when the Bollinger Bands get narrow before a big move, and realistically, you can also use them for confirmation as well, all right? So before I actually go ahead and show you how to use these indicators though, or how to use this specific indicator, I first want to mention that no single indicator should be used to make your buy and sell decisions, okay? In fact, you shouldn't be making buy and sell decisions off of any mixture of trading indicators anyway. Instead, your decisions should be based on price action and the indicator should only be used as a confirmation bias to your overall judgment, okay? So only use the indicators to confirm your decisions, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at these bands and see some of the most common ways that you can use them in your own strategy, all right? So the first thing I want to talk about here is the squeeze, okay? Now, the squeeze is typically when the Bollinger Bands start to get super narrow, okay? And when I'm talking about narrow, I'm talking about narrow, and you can see them right here, all right? We've got it, narrow right here. We've got narrow right here. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the squeeze, okay? Typically what happens in a squeeze is that's typically when price is consolidating and volume starts to get lower and things just aren't really happening very much, all right? And you can clearly see that on the charts as well. I mean, for instance, right here, things were pretty sideways for a while, not much volume at all. You can tell by the size of the bars, and not much was really happening, all right? Same thing within here, within this squeeze as well. Same exact thing going on right here. Let me see if I can find another good example. Here's another good example right here, all right? So when this squeeze happens, that's typically when things are going to start going sideways, all right? Now, so that's one way that you can look to see to try to figure out what's going on with whatever coin you're specifically looking at or whatever asset you're specifically looking at to try to figure out and gauge the overall trend that's happening with that coin, okay? Now, the next thing I want to talk about here with the Bollinger Bands is you can also use the Bollinger Bands to identify overbought and oversold levels, okay? Now, the way to do this is basically when the candles go way above the band lines or way below the band lines, that basically indicates whether they're overbought or oversold, okay? So as you guys can clearly see right now, as we're looking at Bitcoin on the daily chart right now, we can clearly see that, hey, let me get my brush here. We can clearly see that you can't even see the top band anymore right now. That's pretty much telling us that Bitcoin is extremely oversold right now, okay? Same thing when we are going down here, okay? Here's another perfect example, all right? We've got price action that's below the middle band, and it clearly went outside of the band, outside of the actual bands themselves right in here, okay? That pretty much tells you right there, okay, well, shit's getting pretty oversold right now, okay? So that is a very good indicator to be able to tell you whether things are overbought or oversold as well, okay? Now, another way that you can use the Bollinger Bands is for volatility analysis, all right? Basically, what volatility analysis means with the Bollinger Bands is basically when the bands are either very steep or very flat, okay? So when we've got, again, this goes back to the squeeze as well, okay? So when the bands are very flat, like right in here, you can pretty much tell that there's, very low volatility going on right there, all right? Whereas when the bands are extremely steep like this, I mean, you could sled down that hill right there, all right? I mean, realistically, that's a very steep angle right there. Realistically, when the bands are steep like that, that means there's all kinds of volatility and all kinds of volume going through right now, all right? So that is just another way that you can use the Bollinger Bands to be able to decipher where you think the coins are, or where you think the price action is going to end up going, all right? Now, the next thing I want to talk about here, which is the very last thing I want to talk about with the Bollinger Bands, is going to be trend reversals, okay? Basically what happens here is basically when the candles either close below the band in an uptrend or a downtrend, okay? So let me go ahead and find some examples of this, all right? So here we go. This is a perfect example, okay? So right here, we can clearly see that, let me go ahead and zoom in on this or see if I can get closer in. All right. So as you guys can clearly see, we had a candle closure right at the bottom of the bottom band right here, okay? That pretty much that made that way too small. That pretty much signals that we are going to start dropping, okay? And that's exactly what happened, you guys. We ended up dropping pretty large right there, okay? So that is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about trend reversals, okay? You could clearly tell, and you could clearly see it right in there. I mean, we had that candle open even right at the very top of the neutral zone, right at the top of the neutral middle band right there, and it ended up closing right at the beginning of the bottom band, okay? That right there tells you that, the volatility or, volume is pretty weak. Buyers are pretty exhausted and, shit's about to hit the fan. And we ended up dropping right there, okay? Same thing can be true with the opposite direction as well, okay? Here's a good example right here, all right? This candle closed right there, all right? And look at where it closed, all right? Look where it closed. You can clearly see it closed literally right on the top band, all right? That pretty much tells you, okay, we're going to start reversing right there, and that's exactly what happened. We ended up reversing and going straight up, all right? Which is exactly what I'm talking about here. So realistically, you guys, when you take a look and you use these different indicators, these indicators can tell you a lot of different things, all right? They really can. They can tell you all kinds of different things that you wouldn't have really noticed if you were to just take a small, quick glance at it, okay? So realistically, there's all kinds of different ways that you can look at these indicators, especially the Bollinger Bands, and use them to your advantage in your own swing trading strategy, okay? Now, like I was mentioning before, you do not want to use just one of these indicators and just call it a day and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to use this indicator and I'm going to make all my buy and sell decisions off of that. No, that's not how it works, you guys, all right? Realistically, you only want to be using these indicators for a confirmation bias, okay? So realistically, if you think that the price is going to move in a certain direction or move in a specific, just move a certain way, you want to confirm it with these indicators, okay? Before you make any buy and sell decisions, make sure that it's showing the same type of result on, for instance, the Bollinger Bands, and showing the same result on the RSI as well, okay? Or any other indicator, for instance. So like For instance, the Bollinger Bands, the RSI, or even the MACD. Okay, there's all kinds of different there's all kinds of different indicators out there that you can use to be able to have a confirmation bias in your overall decision making. Okay. Overall here though, you guys, in the extremely dynamic world of swing trading that we have today, mastering the art of identifying potential reversals and breakouts is absolutely key. And Bollinger Bands, luckily, Bollinger Bands offer extremely valuable insights for swing traders alike, all right? And as mentioned before, this indicator should not be used on its own and should be used in conjunction with other indicators, for your overall confirmation biases. But now that you guys have, this in your toolkit, you'll be able to use it on your own trading strategy, okay? Now, if any of you guys have any questions about anything whatsoever that I mentioned in this video, or anything that's related to trading or altcoins in general, feel free to go ahead and reach out to me in my free community Discord server, which you can find a link to in the description below this video as well. But overall here, you guys, that's going to pretty much do it for this video. So I will go ahead and wrap this one up. But if you guys haven't already and you would like to, go ahead and make sure to subscribe to my channel so that you never miss a new crypto and altcoin video from me on a regular basis. And hey guys, with that said, thanks again for watching.